Hi, ladies, and welcome back. The first thing that I wanted to announce is that I will be releasing all future videos on Fridays instead of Wednesdays. I've just found that for me, it is so much easier to make a video consistently and get it edited and ready for all of you to watch by Friday afternoon than it is on a Wednesday. It's just so busy and hectic around my place during the week, and I want to make sure that I'm producing really quality material for you. So just know that from this day going forward, you will be able to find a video for my cosmetics page on both Facebook and YouTube. Speaking of the videos that I will be releasing, today's video is all about trend. If you are anything like me, which I know a lot of you are, you pay really close attention to what all of the current trends are in makeup. And one thing that I have loved that has been featured for about the last 2.5 months is blue eyeshadow. So first of all, this is not the blue eyeshadow from our mothers or our grandmothers that was like that awful Barbie blue. I'm sure all of you remember, if you're old enough to remember. I know I am, scarcely enough, but it was like this. Oh, I can't even describe it as anything but like the blue that was on our Barbie dolls. And it came in the little Mary Kay eyeshadow palette, and you could use it wet or dry. So this is not that blue. The blues of today have such a wide range of gorgeous tones. They're rich in color. They have different textures to create beautiful multi-dimensional looks. And we now know that in order for a color to really pop and look the way that we want it to, is we mix it with a perfect neutral. So today, first of all, I'm going to show you a few different palettes in all different price ranges that you can try this look out. And then I'm going to show you what my favorite look is for my skin tone and my eye color. But just know that regardless of your skin tone, regardless of your eye color, there is a color and an application that will work perfectly for you. So if you think this is something that you'd like to learn more about, just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is different products that you can use. I'm going to start on the lower end and then kind of build my way up. One little palette that I found, and I actually bought this several years ago, it's by L'Oreal. It's their Studio Secrets, and it is number 236 in Cobalt Smokes. So this is what it looks like. It's their little teeny tiny palette, but the colors are actually really beautiful, and they all work very well together. The only thing that I wish that they had in here, obviously, was a neutral to use as your transition color. But look at those. So you have like this really beautiful silvery white. Then you have this really nice kind of baby blue, and it is a very high shine. And then you have a royal blue, then you have a midnight blue. So these four colors combined makes for just a really gorgeous like blue smoky eye look. Or you can even use this by itself for a more subtle daytime look with just a little pop of color. So that's a really great one. I have actually made several palettes. In my MAC palettes that I have made and collected over the years, I usually tend to make palettes for different color groups. So let me check. This one is all blues and greens, so you can kind of see all of the different beautiful blues that I've included in here. So I have like this really gorgeous like sea blue color. This is a matte. I don't know if you guys can see this. It looks kind of green in my camera, but it's actually more like a soft dusty blue. This is also very shiny. This is a very, very light baby blue. And then this is a really dark kind of midnight blue. Then in my other MAC palette, which is kind of all of my brights, I have this gorgeous blue. I don't use this very often, obviously, but I do have some fun using it in the summer months. And then this is more like a real, oh my goodness, something just fell out. This is more like a cyan, and then I also have like a midnight blue here. Then moving on to another palette that I bought several years back and I absolutely love. This is by Arbonne. I'm not sure that these colors are available in a kit, but I know you can purchase them separately. Let's see, this is, see if it'll even tell me, I hope so. Let's see, so you have chocolate, so I'm really, really happy that they, I'm sorry you guys, mega bad reflection. This is chocolate, so I'm really glad that they included a nice neutral in this palette because you should always use a neutral with your colors. Then they have this beautiful, beautiful silver. So I use this as more of a highlight color. And then let's see, this is blue slate. So again, this is kind of a dark midnight blue, but it's also very high shine. And then they have vanilla, which is a really nice vanilla color, and it is a matte. So these are really, really great colors to use in combination with one another. And this is actually the palette that I will be using today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I have all my brushes here. I'm going to show you for my eye shape how to apply this color and where to apply it because, again, it is all about where we are placing color on our eyes. So I'm going to start, I always start with the highlight. I'm sure you guys have noticed that by now. So I'm going to start with this really beautiful silver color. And I'm just going to apply that to the inner corner of my eye. And I'm going to bring that over about a quarter of the way onto my lid. And what this is going to do is it's really going to open up my eye and help my eye to appear nice and large and wide awake and bright, which is, again, what we all strive for, regardless of how little sleep we were able to get the night before. And I do love this color. It's more, gosh, it's not even like a super bright silver. There's a lot of white in it. So it does just lend to a lot of brightness in that area of the eye. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of this beautiful blue color. Now these colors are very, very highly pigmented, okay? So a little goes a long way. And since obviously I'm wanting to bring attention to my eye color, which is a dark bluish gray, I'm going to put the gray right above my iris so that that color is reflected back down onto my eye. And I'm only going to bring this up right to where my crease is. I don't want it to come up too high because I'm going to use that brown as more of a transition color. And you can be kind of sloppy, honestly, with this step because we're going to be using some brown and we're going to be blending it out a lot anyways. So again, we're going to put that right above our iris, and I'm going to blend it into like where I put that silver color. And then just barely blend it right up into the crease. This is such a pretty, pretty blue because again, it also has a lot of that kind of silvery tone to it. And it's darker too, which I think just helps everything to look so beautiful and rich. Okay, got a little fallout there. Okay, then taking the same brush, we'll just dust our brush off and we're gonna get into this beautiful chocolate brown. So I'm gonna take this and put it right at the edge of our eye. And this is really gonna be what completes this look and makes it just look very chic and very beautiful without looking overdone. Because again, neutrals, ladies, used with a pop of color just makes everything come together so perfectly. So with a transition color, you're not using it for big effect, okay? You're using it for the purpose of balancing out whatever other color it is that you're using. And you're also using it for the purpose of sculpting and shaping the eye socket. So you don't need to be using a ton of product. So we are going to make sure that we blend this brown right at the line where our blue shadow ends. And then I'm going to very, very lightly pull this brown color up and out on my brow bone right here. So I think you guys can see that pretty well. Because again, we just want it to be this beautiful wash of color. We don't want anything super dramatic. We don't want a ton of color. We just want everything to be really well blended and sculpted. So I think you guys can see that pretty well. So there's this beautiful pop of color, excuse me, right above my iris. And then it's all blended out just perfectly with that brown. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And you can see why I said that you don't need to be super neat when you're applying that blue, because the brown is gonna go right over the top anyways. And you will not even be able to tell that you made a mess. This would also be really pretty if you reversed the colors. Let's say you just don't want quite that much color on your lid. You could always put the chocolate brown color on the lid and then put a little bit of the blue on the outer corner and blend it out into the crease. That would look really beautiful too. So I would say just play with it so you kind of know what your comfort level is and you know what it's going to look like on your face, and then go from there. Okay, so again, we'll blend it right into the corner so that we're just, again, sculpting out the eye without adding a ton of color, because we do want that blue color to be kind of the focus. And I love accentuating my brow bone. Okay. Oh, okay. So then when you do get just a little bit of a mess under the eye, I take my kabuki brush, which I use to like put my eyeshadow on with, and I just give it a nice light sweep, and it is all gone. Okay. So now we are ready for the liner. So for a blue look like this, you have one of two options. You could either use a beautiful midnight blue eyeshadow or midnight blue liner. For me, I really like to use either black or brown. I know I've said that before, but I have just found that that is what works best for pretty much any eye look that I choose. So for today's eye look, I'm going to go ahead and use my Black Track Pro Fluid Line eyeliner. And I'm going to find my little angle brush. So if you guys have yet to grab one of these, again, if you're wanting a really nice, tight, precise line on your eye, make sure to pick one of these up. You can either get yours through Morphe. I think I don't have my Morphe brush out here, but they have several fine angle brow brushes through Morphe, or this one is the MAC 236 brush. I've had this one for years. So again, like I showed you in my last video, just take this and set it underneath your lash line. And then we will do a really quick cat eye. So I hope you guys can see this. I know it's kind of hard for me to get at a good angle for everybody. But the first thing is you want to draw your line on the bottom. And I'm just going to bring this pretty far up because it is more of a dramatic eye. Make sure that your point at the tip is very, very tight and very thin. Then I'm going to turn my brush around, and starting at the tip, I'm just going to pull it in onto my lid. Okay, now I screwed that up just a tiny bit here because I wasn't paying attention. Made it too thick at the end. There we go. So now we have a really nicely defined cat eye, and then you can draw the rest of your line on your lid. So obviously you want the outer corner to be quite a bit thicker than the inner corner. I do like to bring my liner all the way in to my tear duct, especially when I'm creating more of a dramatic eye. It really helps to elongate the eye. I don't need a whole lot of elongation because I have almond shaped eyes anyway. But having a really beautiful pronounced eye is always a good thing. Okay. And you know what, I do have to pull my eye out because, you know, I'm not 20 anymore. And the skin around my eyes over the last several years has become like so crepey and dry, and it doesn't seem to matter what products I use or how I apply them. It just like skips across my skin. And I was just talking to my mother about this the other day because I remember years and years ago when I was but a teen, and my mom was telling me about my grandmother and how she would try putting her makeup on and her skin would just kind of move all over the place. And she just thought, what in the world is wrong with you? And then she said the same thing happened to her when she got old. And she finally realized what it was. And now I'm thinking, oh, crap. This is going to happen to me too at some point. But, you know, we just do what we can as we age to make it as painless and as beautiful as possible. Okay, so I know sometime, you guys, I want to do a video for you just on like different lining techniques because I know it's something that everybody wants to learn how to do. I have just found so oftentimes that it's just a lot easier to teach you guys how to do those things one-on-one because our eye shapes are so different. So if that's something that you would really like to learn how to do, just comment and let me know, and let's get you set up with a private lesson so that I can do a customized tutorial just for you, because that's something that I love doing anyways. I love having the opportunity just to meet everybody and customize things to your lifestyle, your likes, your dislikes, everything. Like that is one of the things that I love most about my job is the opportunity to actually meet everybody in person. Okay, so we have perfectly winged liner. Now, what I like to do with this particular look is I like to blend a little bit of shadow into that liner that I just put on. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I don't even know if I have my little brush over here. Oh wait, yes I do. Because again, if you have listened to me at all, which I know that you guys have, I don't like having just lines. Even if it is a wingtip liner, I like everything to just be blended really beautifully. So I am going to take a dark blue, and I think I'm going to use, yep, I'm going to use one of my MAC blues. If you want to stick with that palette, go ahead and stick with that palette. You can use brown if you'd like, but I just want to add some extra depth and dimension to my eyes using a blue color. So I'm basically placing the shadow right over the top of where I just put my liner, and then I'm going to drag it just ever so slightly inward and up into my crease, and then I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm not adding a lot of color. I'm just adding a little bit more dimension to my eye. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know if you guys have the same problem that I do all the time, but I am always running out of memory space on my phone, and I have no idea what it is. I think it must be like all of the apps that my kids download for games and things when we're like away from the house, and I don't even know that they exist until my phone says, I'm sorry, you are out of storage. Okay, so we went ahead and applied a little bit more of the dark blue shadow to our upper lid right on top of that beautiful liner. Let's see. I want to add just a tiny bit underneath, but we want to make sure that the makeup around our eyes is set. I know that I have reiterated this like time and time again, but I keep saying it because it's really important. So this is used for the prevention of color transfer below the eyes to help and make sure that the whole eye area remains nice and clean and free of any dark circles all throughout your day. So I just took a little bit of my loose translucent powder. This is a Motives product, which I love, love, love Motives. So I'm using my Beauty Blender sponge and I'm just applying that all underneath the eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply, I'll put a little down my nose too since I have so much on my sponge. I'm going to apply a little bit of that blue eyeshadow underneath as well because right now it just looks totally bizarre. So I'm going to take my brown first and apply that more toward the inner corner, just really, really lightly because again, I want it to be the upper lid that is highlighted and I want everything to have that beautiful lifted appearance. I don't want my eyes to take on a whole new shape. So I'm just going to very gently pull this from the inner corner to about halfway across the eye. Then I'm going to switch over to the blue and pull that out towards the edge. And then just really, really lightly blend the two together. So this is really just going to complete the whole look. Don't ever forget to put something on the bottom. I generally tend to stay away from like a kohl liner or any kind of a liner underneath the eye that can be really like thick and heavy because you should really just have a little wash of color on the lower lash line just to kind of marry the top to the bottom. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take my fan brush and we'll dust all of that powder away and it's just gonna leave this nice clean under eye area and then there will be no transferring of color all day long. So if you have not tried that process yet, I'm telling you, you need to try it because it is a game changer for your makeup. Okay. So there is a beautiful blue eye look. Again, I don't think that anybody can say that this is the blue that their grandmothers used to wear. It is very wearable. You just need to, again, know the tone of blue to wear for your eye color and your skin color, and then you need to place it properly. So again, if you want to know how to do this in person or how to do like the perfect liner just for you, just comment below and we'll go ahead and get you set up with your private lesson with me. Until then, everybody, be beautiful and live beautifully.